And Allison is, I think she's helping Joe right now down in a classroom. And I'm surprised Jim hasn't signed on yet.
Well, who's not on anymore?
So Earl, so we've asked Earl to join us today.
Oh, okay. He's still on because he's here.
Thank you.
And our new member, and Allison will probably talk about this, but is unable to meet during the day.
Who was that again?
His name was Jonathan Lieberman.
So was
Oh,
he not
okay.
aware of that when
It
we forgot to ask him? So
Yeah, it sounds like it. And I did let Jackie know, so she knows that he's available to serve on another board. And
all right, thank you.
yeah. Hi, Jim.
Hello.
Jim.
Okay.
Sorry I'm late.
We are still waiting for Joe to, I think Allison's working on getting the camera set up or something, so.
Okay.
So, hey, Debbie,
Yeah,
Joe doesn't have the email that has him like to get on as a participant. And then when he goes on the website, he can't get on it. It's asking for an ID number.
okay.
And Shelly's helping him.
Let me see.
So I don't know if you can resend the email that would have him like accept as a participant. So she's in there with his email trying to find it.
Do you want me to send it to Shelly or to?
No, send it to Joe because they're in his email right now. And the other name is Shelly. My other name. And she'll change her name when she gets back.
Okay, so I just sent a link to him.
Okay. Sorry about that, everybody.
No. And I'll watch. He may come in as an attendee.
Yeah.
This one works, and then
We were so ready. We met with him like 25 minutes ago. Trying to get set up. A little challenging. So I'll run down there again and make sure that Shelly's got that email.
Debbie, do you remember the date that you sent the agenda? I mean, I had it up on my computer, but I need to print it from someplace else.
I think it was later Wednesday. Do you want me to send you one?
Yeah, that would be great. Then I can just print it out from my phone and I don't have to, my computer cannot multitask. It might be the operator, but.
And I can also bring the agenda on the screen, but if you would also like to.
Well, are you going to be putting it on the screen anyway?
Yeah, because I've got a couple documents to share, so.
Okay, that would be fine. And then I can just print it out later after I close down the computer.
Okay.
I mean, after I close down the Zoom meeting.
Yeah, they're still having,
Would it help, Debbie, if I forwarded the email from you to Joe? Or would,
I did send a link to Joe. But what if I also send him? Okay, I sent to Allison and Shelley also. Oh, there we go. Okay, Allison, I did just promote him to participant.
Okay. Yeah, Shelley's taken another computer down there for him to use.
Okay,
Sorry about that, everybody. We had them all set up with the link and it just wouldn't take the link. So as a member of the public, you would have had to put in an ID number, which is weird. So
Here you go, Joe.
there you go.
oh boy, okay. All right.
Is that better?
Yeah, but I don't see anybody right now. Let's see if I'm okay. Then
You're right here.
I'm okay.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you for
You're
your,
very welcome.
thank you. Okay. Thank each of you for being here and sorry for the delay. And our meeting is called to order at approximately 2:10. And Debbie, would you like to do the roll call at this point?
yes. Right, and we have Chair Joe DeMoor,
Yes, here.
Bobby Harris,
Here.
Jim Woodward,
Here.
Russell,
Is that me?
that's you, yeah. And guest, we have Earl Huff.
Here.
Staff, we have Director Christina Underhill. And Recreation Manager Allison Boyd.
Here.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Are there any additions to the minutes of November 2nd, 2020? Okay, and if there is no additions, if we could receive a motion to accept the minutes as of November 2nd, 2020.
I'll move to accept the minutes from November 2nd.
Thank you. And a second?
I second it.
Okay.
Earl.
And Earl I guess I'm asking the question since he was at the meeting, but Earl cannot vote at this one.
Okay.
So we'll need to have Jim or Rita. Sorry about that. Jim, would you like to second?
I will second it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. Motion was made by Bobby Harris to accept the minutes of November 2nd, 2020, and seconded by Jim Woodward. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Okay.
Aye.
All those who opposed? Okay, motion carried. And on the agenda, we have an election of officers. So how do we proceed at this point?
Or Debbie, did you want to speak to that or do you want me to?
Allison, feel free to.
Okay, so we did have someone who came forward that wanted to serve on the trust fund. Went through the motions with him and he is unable to serve because he's still working. So he didn't feel like he could make the meetings and make an impact with that group. So what will happen now is that it will continue to be open and we'll take applications and we'll talk to people here and hopefully get someone else that will apply for that position. So that's what I know right now.
Okay. Thank you.
What
Let's see, go ahead.
I was going to say, am I still there? Where'd I go?
You're still there.
Okay, well, my picture isn't here anymore.
Yeah.
It wasn't this about election of the officers for the board, president and chair, or chair and vice chair? Wasn't
Oh,
that what this was about?
You are correct, Jim. See, that's why we have you around.
Well, good, I'm around for something.
No, you are right. That kind of slipped my mind with all of this other stuff. I hate that I can't talk to people all the time to recognize that.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of up to you all with a motion of who you want to be the chair and the, let me see here.
Chair and vice chair. I think, well, if I read the minutes correctly, Earl, are you termed out now?
Yes,
I'm at the end of 9 years. I started in 2012.
Yay, Earl.
Okay. Well, then I would nominate Joe to continue as our chair and Bobby to be our vice chair.
and then Joe, you would just call a motion on that or just,
So a motion has been made by Jim Woodward that I would continue as the chairperson and Bobby Harris would be the co-chair. And we would need a motion to proceed with a possible vote.
Well, can we have how about if I nominate Jim for vice or whatever you call it?
Why would you do that? You don't want to sit as,
Because I don't know what it is involved in it, Jim. I have no idea what would be involved in it.
Well, if I may just mention that if I'm not able to be at a particular meeting, then I would ask Bobby that you would chair the meeting and be prepared for whatever try to be prepared for whatever might come up.
Okay.
so will you accept that nomination, Bobby?
Yeah, I suppose.
Thank you, Bobby. And so do we have a motion to proceed with a vote?
Well, I made the motion. I think all we need is a second.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second it then. We're kind of limited on bodies here.
Okay, so we have Jim Woodward has made the motion and Bobby Harris has seconded the motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, and opposed. Thank you, Jim, for pointing that out. Okay, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions or comments with respect to the election of officers? Okay, so moving right along. Allison, yeah. Go ahead. Allison, would you care to, under new business, recognizing Trustee Earl Huff at this time?
Sure. Well, Earl, we're sorry to, we're gonna miss you on this little group here. Just wanted to let you know how appreciative we are of all the work that you've done on this and the advisory committees and all the things you volunteered for over the years and continue to do so, I hope. We have a little something for you that'll be at Malley for you to pick up. So let me know when you're around. I can let Shelley know as well if you can come by and pick that up sometime.
Thank you, Allison. It's been my pleasure to be part of Malley for all these years, and I've loved every minute of it. And I hope to continue to be part of Malley as we open up again and you're allowed to come and go. Hope we all will see that soon. The end of this pandemic thing, we're looking forward to it. So thank you for the recognition, and I do appreciate it. And it's been, like I say, my pleasure to have been there and to do what I did, which is not very much.
That's not true.
Earl, we appreciate it. We appreciate you so much. And when Earl and I, if I may mention, when Earl and I got together for just some social time recently, he had he attended a meeting, his first trust fund committee meeting actually in February 17th, 2010. So thank you for your commitment over the last 10 years plus. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Earl.
Can I make some comments?
Please.
Earl, I just want to thank you for your service to the city of Englewood and to the Malley Center Trust Fund Board. I greatly appreciate it. And it's been a pleasure getting to know you, and you've done an amazing job. Thank you so much, Earl.
Thank you, Rita. I really appreciate those words, and it's been my pleasure to be a very good friend of yours. So, and I want to thank Joe especially. Bobby, don't worry. And my internet is not good, but anyway, thank you, Joe, for all you've done for Malley with not just this, but many, many other things. You're a real hard worker, and we appreciate you.
Thanks, Earl. Okay, so thank you. And Allison, would you care to talk with us now about information regarding new projects and so forth?
Sure. So we were talking the last time we met a few months ago, just about some projects that we've been wanting to work on, and you were asking things that the trust fund could maybe help out with. So I put together just a list of things. One of the things that we've started on already is the Buzz Resource Room. Just a place where we can provide materials and service to people that need resources. Kind of found, especially with COVID, that yeah, there's a picture of the sign that we got put up, and it's in where the library was, which we had kind of turned into a tech room anyway, with a laptop and whatnot in there. We moved the materials that were out front in the sliding doors where people really couldn't stand and look at things. So this will give them an opportunity to kind of take a pamphlet or something that they can look at if they have any questions. There'll be a phone in there. Our phone is in the middle of the hallway by the restrooms right now. So, and a lot of people that we serve don't have access to a telephone. So we want to keep that feature. It's just not the best place to have a phone. So we'll put a telephone in there. We have a desk set up in there, and tables, and just some space for people to be able to talk and get resources. So, and Cheryl Adamson is heading that up and putting things together. So these are some of the things that we've already done. We've bought the things on the right that we bought display cases. We have a movable room divider that's coming so that we can provide some protection, so to speak, in this COVID world we live in. And some computer material and things like that, just to make it a nice space for people that they can come in to and get help. Any questions on that? I'll just run through these. I know you have it in front of you as well.
Well, if I may make a comment, I just had the opportunity of 20 minutes ago to tour it or see what's been done, and it's, Allison, it's very up to, it's very good. It looks great, and thank you for that effort, because it looks really wonderful. It's the first time I saw it, just about 20 minutes ago, and it just very well organized, and it appears to be very user friendly. So
yeah, Cheryl has spent some time in there trying to figure out what kind of materials we need to put in there, and it's a cozy room. We do get a lot of people that come and ask us questions, and those kind of questions it's not very conducive to be at the front desk, and this also allows us that physical distance space and those kind of things. So we're pretty happy about it. Another one of the things with all this COVID requirements and things going on, we've have a pretty robust virtual class experience, mostly fitness, but we've moved into, we've done speakers and an art class and things like that. So unfortunately, not knowing that we were going to be doing, virtual things and everything else that's going on in the city, we really do require some better equipment to get a better picture, better sound and things like that. So I've kind of paired out what it would cost to do to get a computer, the keyboard, the mouse, the camera, and get a good little system going for our virtual classes. And we're looking at doing it at the Recreation Center as well, but this is strictly for Malley. So you'll see that right there, just the AV solutions for virtual classes. And that it's not a, it's movable so that we could actually do a kitchen class in the kitchen. We could do a cooking class in the kitchen. We could do something in the art room. We can do it for fitness. So it's pretty versatile. And then the next one there, I'm sorry, does anybody?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
Allison, what's that Lenovo Think Center? What is that?
It's a computer.
Oh, okay.
It's a type of computer.
All
So
right. I hadn't heard of it.
we actually spec'd out an overall system for both centers, and that was what was recommended for that video quality and kind of thing. So Lenovo is a brand of computer.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
I have a question on this.
Sure.
Aren't there funds in the CARES Act and in some of the money that's come forward from the federal government that would cover some of those types of things?
Yes, we actually requested for this last year, and it was not approved. So it was requested in July of last year. So we may do with what we had, but we definitely are lacking with some of these, with the sound and whatnot. But yeah, good point, Jim. We did ask for a package for both places, and it just didn't get approved. There were so many other things that probably took precedence.
Were there, I wasn't looking at the buzz room above, but just the Malley AV solutions were Zoom. And that wasn't approved because that seems pretty related to COVID in my mind.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of things that were asked for, and some were approved and some were not. It was just a matter of what we could get, but we did ask for it, just did not get approved.
Okay, that's the only question I had there.
Very good question though. The next one actually is in kind of a result of some of the CARES Act that we did. We redid the floors at Malley to be more of a hard surface. It's like a rubberish type flooring, so it's easier to clean than the carpet. So we pulled the carpet in the front lobby area and then the hallways. And we realized that the sound, it's very echoey. So we do have some rugs now and things like that, but we have already purchased some acoustic paneling to put in the front lobby area. And this is a request for some to put in the hallways, down the hallway area. And they're just those smaller, I would say picture size, frame, 2x2, 2x3, that kind of size that just helps us with some of the sound containment. So that's what that is for.
I have a question on the decorative acoustic panels in the hallways. I'm just thinking, panels in the hallways, are they attached to the walls, or you said they're movable?
Well, they can be, I put the word decorative because we actually got some that we got one that was like a picture, but they're, in the ballroom, the mountain kind of scape in there, that's actually acoustic paneling. So it's better than just the regular white paneling. Some of this could be put up in the skylights. So it's not something that could be necessarily knocked down, if that's what you're concerned about.
Well, yeah, I was just concerned about when it said panels. I immediately thought, when I originally saw that, as something that was standing there almost like a separation panel, but
Oh no.
But if it's attached to the wall, that's where I was going to go and say, isn't there acoustical wall covering that
that same
may
thing.
or may not cost more, but would be more conducive, and then conducive to the art stuff that goes up there from time to time?
Correct. That's what we were thinking in that hallway. It's a very good point. But it would be something that's, on the wall that would be safe, wouldn't fall on people and whatnot. So just didn't want something that didn't look nice. So, anything else?
No, I have no further questions on those items.
Okay, thank you. The marketing materials branded, that's similar to what we did before with the clips, where we had the Malley name on the clips. And those are marketing materials because we would give them out. They have our name on them. It's also something similar to our handout that we give for printed materials. That's kind of one of those to be determined marketing items, which we've talked about in years past, that it's been brought up by trustees that should probably be an annual type of fund or funded, so to speak, so that we could use that money to brand Malley.
So it would be kind of held in an account or held in abeyance until we need it.
Well, it's all in the trust fund, so it definitely would not be spent, until I said, hey, can we spend this,
Okay.
I'm anticipating maybe something in the fall that we would want to do. If we ever get to go outside again and do something in particular, like maybe the block party, we have a tent there. We could do something with the Malley name on it, or we could have print some flyers, or even a direct mailer. We've done mailers before by zip codes in the area to try and promote Malley with that flyer that we have. So that's what it would be. It would be something that I would show you what it's going to be. It's not just a hey, I'm going to do something and then you find out I did it. It would be, this is what we're thinking about doing for promotional materials. This is what it looks like. You have any comments? Kind of how we did the clips.
Okay, thank you.
And the flyers as well. You all had input on what was going to be put in those in regards to, setting up a trust, donating to Malley, that kind of thing. So. And that last note on there was I didn't want Joe to think that I had forgotten that he does have some ideas about looking at some landscaping options. And I'm not sure if that really falls under the trust fund, unless it was like an art piece or a bench or something like that. But the Parks Department is looking at some options with the rocks that are out front. I think in particular, Joe, you can correct me if I'm wrong about that.
I think it would be, it's the first impression as we're coming up to Malley. Maybe it's only me, but I think we could do, there just needs some cleanup in my opinion, that I'm not saying we need money for this, but I believe we could make a volunteer effort into, I've done it many times before, and it just takes time and some effort, but I believe we could have volunteers just cleaning up the rocks and so forth. I know they're vacuumed and blown and everything, but there's a lot of debris that builds up, and sometimes it just I just notice it. So that's my thought, but we'll see. So, Allison, would you like us to decide on this and vote on this today?
Well, I have a question for my supervisor, Christina. There's been some discussion, and I know it's coming to council with how boards and trust funds, spend the money. And I just need some more clarification on if that has to be approved by council or not. And I think that's coming up pretty soon on how we do that. So again, Christina, correct me if I don't think that we can make a vote on that we want to spend that today, or if you approve the spending today, that would have to probably be brought back. But I hate to put you on the spot, Christina, but do you have any more?
Yeah,
clarity?
what can happen is you can approve this and say, yes, this is where the money should be spent. You want to put $2,000 towards future marketing campaigns. you know, if you're interested in the acoustic panels, if there's something you're like, no way, we don't want to spend money on that, you can let us know. It can be removed. So this one's just earmarking the different types of items that can be purchased over this next year. And obviously, if ideas come up throughout the year, it's a discussion that can be had at this meeting. So if you want to look at it, just approving that you're okay with spending this money or not, you can let staff know, and that way we can move forward when it is time and keep you up to date at where we're at.
I feel that Allison and Christina, if you and the other team members, if you feel that this is a positive direction for Malley, I would say let's say yes. Let's go ahead with the process and see if City Council's going to approve what we're feeling or just what. But that's my feeling, because to research everything and to know everything that's going on behind the scenes is just not something I'm able to do, and maybe some of the other our team members can't or might not be able to do. But I think if you feel this is a positive direction, I fully trust your research and your thoughts. So that's just my opinion.
And I don't see anything wrong with any of these items. We haven't given any money towards Malley, to my knowledge, since I've been on the trust fund. The last thing that I think we did was for the stuff in the fitness center, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, that's not a bad amount of money to request from us to pitch in. So I don't think there's a problem with it.
I would support this list and throw out as a suggestion to be thinking about something else, which would be some sort of marketing to the community once everybody has gotten a vaccine and the center is opened again, that there are some sort of incentives to get the experienced community in. So the older community, the new people that have turned 55 and that sort of thing, coming to the center. Just as an example, maybe some of the programming for classes or something for first-time members, the first semester is free or something like that, or the first 5 that register, but a way of marketing to really get people back into the Malley Center and new people.
Yeah, thank you, Jim, for those comments. Let's see. Earl, would you like to share any thoughts at this point?
I just remember the many times, at least several times, that especially when Joe Sack was here, that we got a whole bunch of volunteers and we went out there and we cleaned up all the front. We planted flowers, we swept the walks, we washed things down, and we'd spend most of the whole day out there cleaning up. And I really enjoyed it. And I think the people that would gladly and volunteer to do things like that. We didn't expect it to cost anything, except maybe the flowers that were sent by the city, but we did that over and over again.
Yeah.
And that flower program will happen again. So we've already started planning for that and that cleanup. Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe that's a good time to have people come out because they can socially distant and they can kind of help us do things around here.
So Allison, do we need a vote to press ahead with your recommendations? Or do we just leave it be and just,
From what I understand from Christina, yeah, you would have to, I think that we would have to have your agreement with it. And then once we're ready to kind of do this, we would move forward that way.
Okay,
So,
so,
I think we've always done that in the past, is that the trust fund approves things first, and it's more of a formality going on to
Yeah.
council to approve. I think council's job in that is just making sure we're wisely spending the money. We're the board members of the trust.
I will say that most of the things that I would bring to the trust fund and that staff would recommend are things that are unbudgeted items normally. These are kind of in addition to what's happening with COVID. So this is a comment.
Just another comment. I kind of got off point there with my last comment, but I think it's a really good idea to have an approved fund to pick up some of these odd items that occur during the year. Maybe not all of them on a list, but at least you have the approval to go ahead and spend something from this fund as it is needed. I guess I'm just saying it's a good idea.
So Earl, are you suggesting maybe we have something like a contingency fund of $5,000 or something added to this that's called as a placeholder for the accounting purposes? So it gets approved by us now and then council later. And then as something comes up during the year, Allison or Christina bring it back to us and then we approve it. That expenditure, it's already approved by council at that point.
Yes, I fully agree with that. That they have a fund that they can draw on that's already approved and not necessarily specifically set out for some one item, but there's some, these are not big items, just the things that occur during the year that would fall under the category of being eligible for a trust fund.
So you're
agreeing with what
saying,
you're
Jim,
saying, Jim.
in addition to the 9,600 that they've requested here, we put extra money on top of it?
Correct.
Okay.
And I guess I would call it something like incidental contingency. And as far as the dollar amount, I guess I'd ask for Allison's guidance on that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think we wouldn't want to use the trust fund money for repairs or anything like that, but we have had some people that want some different type of fitness equipment, which would be kind of nice. We do budget for fitness equipment. We've been asked for things like a different floor in the one classroom that we now have fitness equipment in. So to put a number on like the 5,000, I would recommend not making it too high. You want to have that control and that you all know what's being purchased and what's being requested for. But I do know that the marketing material comes up every year, and that's one of the first things that gets cut in a regular budget is the marketing. And so we've relied on the trust fund to be able to do those nice flyers and the swag. We don't have a lot of that stuff anywhere else. So the recommendation would be at a base that we would at least have, that $2,000 a year is spent for marketing of the Malley Center in whatever form we would want that to be, whether it's, social media up posts and those kind of things, or regular paper material.
Well, the marketing materials branded on this is a line item.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe in front of the marketing materials, you could say annual marketing materials branded.
Yes,
And then whatever the contingency that I think Earl and I were talking about was, an additional 2,500, 5,000, whatever the board comes up with, whatever, for those unforeseen things that come up.
right. A new roof, things like that.
No, not that.
Oh, no,
Not a
no.
roof.
Ah,
Kidding.
well, what if, let's see. If we approve, so to speak, if we approve this type of expenditure today, how quickly does it go in front of the council? No? Would it be next week or tonight or,
I don't know, Rita left.
okay,
She's
so,
there. Rita's
See.
there.
I'm here. I have unstable internet also,
Oh,
so.
okay. I
once
said,
in a while,
Rita
yeah.
left the meeting and it's like, okay.
Right. If you all approve it, I think I can take it to council during council members' choice and just ask that it would be put on the agenda.
is that
So
today? No?
there's a council meeting today, yes.
Okay, so should we look at what's been requested and then maybe table the additional monies for whatever we're going to use those for the next meeting? No? Or should we do it all at once?
I'd say, why don't we do it all at once?
Might as well.
Okay, we'll take, that's great. So do we need a motion, Allison?
We do.
Well, wait a minute, Joe. What dollar amount for this incidental thing? Yeah, are we gonna do 5,000 or 2,500?
I would say 5,000
Okay.
appropriate. But Jim, what do you think?
I'm open. I mean, that type of number, that type of line item that's there is, you don't have to spend it or any of it.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? So Allison, would staff be able to spend that money without approval? I'm talking about the contingency fund, without approval from the committee.
I would recommend to keep it clean is to at least advise you of what we're doing.
I agree.
I think that has to be pretty transparent.
Absolutely.
In my
I
opinion.
agree with that.
You all only meet 4 times a year, and it could be something that comes through, through me or Christina, through Debbie to you to say, hey, this is what we're recommending we're going to spend. And it might be more than the $5,000. We might use some of our budget for it, but this is what is contributed from the trust fund to do this project, whatever it is. But I would say, I would want you to know what it is. I would hate for you all to not agree with something that we're doing.
I agree with that.
And me too.
Amen.
Okay, so we know the amount, 5,000, and once again, do we need a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the total Malley Trust Fund requests of 9623 and add to that a contingency of 5,000, an incidental contingency line item of $5,000 for the calendar year 2021.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed. Okay, motion carried.
And can I ask one more question then? Allison, can you bring this forward? I mean, I think probably at least the mayor manager meeting would need a printout to have this on the agenda. So the earliest the agenda that it could come on would be 2 weeks from tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll work with Christina on that for sure. I think it would come from her, but absolutely.
Okay, I will bring it up tonight at the council meeting.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, would you like to move right into the DRCOG report?
Sure.
Okay,
I think we're gonna try and show something here. I'm gonna
Hey,
let
Allison, I
Deb
was
drop-
thinking maybe we do an overview of it based off of time. We're at 2:45 now. So if you, I can pull up the presentation if you want to just go quickly through each slide. And
You
we are
bet.
going to originally just play it for you because Jayla Sanchez Warren from Area Agency on Aging did a really excellent presentation to council back on January 19th. So if you're interested in seeing her presentation, feel free to go look it up, or we can send you the link to it too. But it was really a great overview of aging in Inglewood and kind of what the state's looking at as a whole and what we should prepare for. And a lot, you know, is 2050. It's well past our time most likely, but obviously aging in across the United States is occurring, and it always will. So let me get this presentation shared with you all. Alice, can you see it?
I do.
Okay.
Yep. If I'm not sure if you can make it bigger on your screen at all. Yeah.
Is it showing the full screen now?
Yeah. Yes.
Still delayed. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, that's better. Yes, like Christina said, DRCOG is the Denver Regional Council of Government. I think hopefully you all are a little familiar with them and what they do. And so she came out to tell council what the Area Agency on Aging provides. So you can switch to the next slide there. These are things that they provide, the funds and services for older adults. These are the internal programs that would really impact our community. And you can see there, they do a lot of things. Go ahead, next.
Just to add to a lot of the programs they offer, this is something that can come and be housed out of the Buzz when that's open and running and we're back full force at Malley. So that's part of the partnership with the Buzz and Malley and Area Agency on Aging.
Yeah, and this next one, the services provided to older adults in Inglewood. So there's community contractors and then the DRCOG programs. So they, as you can see, they offer a lot of services in this area. And as Christina said, that was part of you know, our thinking too, was with the resource center, that we can definitely play off of the materials and the things that they have for us for our community. Let's go to the next one. Sorry, I have a little lag on my end. I'm not sure what's going on mine. Some of the challenges in 2021, obviously uncertain funding, which affects educational programs. Where do you all go? There it goes. Sorry, I've got a blank screen. There we go. Partnerships and new funding streams. They want to support struggling community partners. And then they want to use some of that COVID relief funding to help those essential services. Some of the needs that we've really seen too in 2021, in 2020, moving into 2021, are providing food services, people getting around to their doctor for the vaccine. We've had questions about that. You know, how can they get there to get their shots? Housing and in-home services that are going to be challenges this upcoming year. So these slides were nice because they were understanding older adults in Inglewood. So it was relative to Inglewood, some of the data. As you can see, that's the population breakdown, male to female. And then if you get to that 65 plus, the male to female ratio is a lot higher female. And a few years ago, we did a demographic of Malley, and it was actually pretty similar to what the population breakdown is. So we have a lot of programs that are geared to that. And And so this is the breakdown here of our ages. And if you look from the 35, well, let's see, 25 to 39-year-old, that millennial, exennial group is pretty big with that 5 years. So you can kind of see the growth and the ages that are within that. All right, so some of the notes that this Englewood specific demographic forecast wasn't available. So this is the Arapahoe County forecast. 75 plus population nearly triples between 2020 and 2050. So that's kind of a perk our ears up for that in regard to programming and services. And thankfully we have a one-story facility. We don't have to worry about stairs and things like that with access. The age 65 to 74 population increases 40% between last year and 2050. So that's a pretty good growth there in relation to looking at food and housing and transportation for this age group. Hopefully we're helping people age in place. And again, here's some more the Arapahoe County forecast. The percent of the population 65 and up grows 7% to 20% between 1990 and 2050. So we're staying healthier. And that in this one, this is the growth among households, and then the ages are across the top there. Her two key takeaways here: 45% of household growth is coming from 65 and over, and 79% of household growth coming with those with no children. So kind of interesting on looking at these numbers and how we look back and how we provide services for them for that age. Housing costs is percent of income. And this is Englewood. Again, a lot of renters, all ages there. Among 40% of older adults, 65 plus in Englewood that rent, 55% are rent burdened. And we find that with people that come in here that's, they're worried about their housing. So that is definitely a concern in this community for sure. Those are all questions for council. They had an assessment, the Boomer Bond community, and so it could still be a resource for strategies that we do moving forward, and how we do transportation and nutrition services and things like that. And DRCOG wants to assist with that, and very important to have their help with all of these things that they do. These were some of the thoughts that Jayla asked the council. How does Englewood's current housing stock support adapt to forecasted changes in housing needs? We are going to have more older adults. They're going to be living alone. What kind of services do they need? This one was interesting. How to support older women as they age in place. 73% of 60 plus women in Englewood are not married. And then again, how to support an older workforce. Workforce development for transitioning retired residents, and then volunteer coordination services. We're seeing that a lot, and some of the changes too, that a lot of people are going back to work. We're noticing we're getting more requests even at the library to use this virtual world that we're living in right now. People need those services in order to work, and they're working past retirement age. And how do we support that? Does the Malley Center become, kind of a hub place where somebody can run their business here? They work here for a couple hours because we have internet access. We've actually had that where people do come here and get in a room, and they run their own business, and they stay for a couple hours. And I see that increasing with people needing a service like that. And then how to support older adults on fixed income. the necessities there: transportation, nutrition, rent assistance, maintenance in their home so that they can stay in their home. The city is doing, a Snow Buddies program. So those kind of things that become cumbersome as you get older, the city can help do that. The Be a Tool that we used to do, those kind of things that we can help people stay in their homes longer. So, and that was, this isn't my presentation, it's Jayla's presentation. So there's a lot of good information that she brought forth in the council meeting that Christina referred to. But it does give us pause to think on what programs we're going to offer and what services and what our building looks like, frankly, what we're going to put in it. We have these laptop computers that can help people, and they're going on 3 to 4 years old, and they might become obsolete. And that might be a trust fund purchase that we need to have we need a better computer service. We got away with the computer room because we have the laptops, but now we're more mobile with that. So it's definitely something that we think about. And I'm pretty proud that we were able to keep the VOA nutritional service, the congregate food program going. And we will have congregate dining on, even though we're furloughing on Friday the 12th. I don't know if you all knew that, but the city is having a furlough day on the 12th of February. We're still going to provide food services. That doesn't stop just because we're not around. So any comments? Or Rita, you saw it, and Christina, you've seen it before. So if I didn't hit on something, Jayla, that stuck with you.
Actually, it was an amazing presentation and gave us a lot of information. I'm really glad that Allison brought that information forward, because I do think it's something that the Malley Center could, provide some of this information. So it would be worthwhile going back to that council meeting and watching that portion of the presentation.
And we'll send you all the link. We'll have Debbie send it out to you. So look for that. It was really good. It made us think. I mean, this last year with COVID, I don't think anybody in our careers could have ever imagined something as what we experienced in 2020 and now rolling into 2021. And so it makes us stop for a minute. And, the buzz is created during COVID for this reason, that we know there's going to be need. We know there's going to be seniors out there that may lose the place they're living, and now they're homeless and they don't know where to go. And we can be that resource for them. So we're looking at things differently thanks to COVID in a good way. And DRCOG and Area Agency on Aging, they're creative, and they look at regional partners and nonprofits and senior centers such as Malley to keep people interactive, engaged, and functioning. The goal is always to age in place and live out a quality life. And that's really the goal of Malley, and the staff at Malley is to assist in any way possible to help that out. So we'll send the link out. Jayla is very motivated, and she knows the community well and understands, and she had a lot of awesome information. So thanks, Allison, for covering that.
Yeah, and thank you. Thank you for the presentation and review and comments. Anything else before we move on? Okay, the ambassador group update, Allison.
Okay, a quick update on that. We had kind of transitioned from the advisory committee to an ambassador group in 2019. And then we were able to meet twice in January, actually, before COVID hit. And then COVID hit, and this group hasn't met since. Unfortunately, one of the members had passed away in this past year, Judy Beggs. And then another member, Bob Bianchi, was having some health issues, and he kind of dropped out. So it's a group of 7 people. We're down to 5. So once we're able to have people in the building again and start to do things, we'll raise this back up again and solicit for a couple more people to be on this. We were able to finalize some group guidelines about what the group does. And basically the emphasis is for them to be ambassadors to help us promote Malley, to volunteer for events to help out, and help us collect surveys. We're going to do some surveys on iPads, and this group was going to help us do that and walk around the centers and even at the recreation center as well. we were going to have them be greeters on some of our trips that go out before they go out to talk about Malley, because some of those people don't do anything else but the trips. And then their interest was also to have one person kind of rotate and attend the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. So that was sort of the gist of that group. And again, we were just getting started on it, and COVID hit, and it just isn't a good time to start it back right now. But we're working on it. We haven't forgotten about it. So we'll keep those people in touch with what's going on with that.
Thank you, Allison. Any questions? Moving on, would you care to comment about the challenge coin? Thank you.
Sure. The city created a little, I'm not sure if you're able to see it. You might be able to see it. It's like a little placard of thanks. And it has a challenge coin on it that I'll read the first paragraph real quick here. In appreciation for your work to provide one of the state's most robust COVID-19 response and recovery efforts, and continuing to perform your regular job duties with excellence, the city of Englewood thanks and salutes you. Just a reminder of how hard staff worked through this whole COVID situation, and we still are. So it was just a recognition, and I have one for the members of this trust fund because you're part of that success. So I gave Joe his, and again, Earl, I'll put yours up front, and Jim, if you're around, or Bobby, if you come in for lunch or something to grab your lunch, I'll put your name on it. So just wanted to highlight that was something that the city did to thank employees and friends of Englewood.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And then any old business that we should recognize? Okay, under reports, the trust fund financial report, Allison?
I would just ask if there's any questions about that. Just remember that the December, anything with interest or audit or adjustments is not reflected on this. Again, we didn't spend any money last year, and there was a contribution of $200 last year. And the prior year was when we got that very large donation in 2019. So you can see that ending fund balance of 389. Well, it got really small, but 389, 785, and 88 cents.
Good. Okay, and then for parks, thank you. Any questions for Allison regarding the trust fund financial report?
Yeah, can I ask a question, Allison? What's the negative $114 in October? What was that?
I'm not sure, and that was a question that hopefully will be figured out on the next, once it's encumbered, but I looked at my reports and I'm not finding it. So that's a good point out there.
It's just
the way they figure the interest.
Yeah, I think that's
the interest changes.
Yeah.
We go through that, I think, every year we ask that question.
Yeah, it just came a little later this year, I think, and we had met in November, and I don't think it was on that last one, but I would recommend let's wait till that next report.
Okay, thank you.
For the end of the year. Yeah, I think Jim asks that every year.
No, I don't ask it. I remember discussing it on console.
Yeah.
And Allison, with you, maybe you just said this and I wasn't paying attention, sorry, but the December interest still is being computed? Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, sorry.
Final.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions? And moving on to the Parks, Recreation, Library, and Golf report, if you would.
I know Christina wants to speak as well, probably. I do want to say a couple things that last Tuesday, the Malley Center was broken into. Someone broke a window in our Pilates room and entered the building about 1:45 in the morning. Our silent alarm did what it was supposed to do. It detects sound in the building. And so the police were dispatched. They were able to, surround the perimeter. The person went into the locker rooms and probably someone who was trying to get warm. It was very cold. It was the day after it snowed, I believe. Stayed in the locker room for about 10 minutes and then entered out of a door, and then the door alarm went off and they were able to apprehend him. And he did have a few warrants out on him. So no damage other than the window. Nothing was stolen, nothing was messed up or anything like that. But just wanted to let you all know in case you heard about it or something, but nobody was in the building at the time. Everybody was safe. And then the second thing is that the Malley Recreation Center and the Englewood Recreation Center were past inspection for this 5-star city designation that the county does, Arapahoe County does. We went through an application process and were approved with that. And then the sites were inspected for signage and spacing and all the cleaning, sanitizing that we do and all that kind of thing. So that's kind of nice that we have that. And what that does is, I know everything's different every day, but we're in the orange level right now. And if we sustain that for 7 days, we can move into the yellow level where other people might have to stay in the orange level. So it shows our dedication to making sure that we're following all of this. And if you watch the news today, the dial's going to change again with some different designations. So all of the material, the social material that we're going to put out it's not going to be too specific about what level we'll go into, because it sounds like on Wednesday the dial's going to change. But I did want to highlight that. That's pretty cool that we're one of a few recreation centers that did this 5-star city designation. So
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. Everybody did a really good job of getting, really good signage and making sure that the place is safe and people feel safe here, I believe. So that's good.
Do you have anything else, Allison?
No, go ahead, Christina.
Okay. I'll just add a couple things. The library is open for browsing and computer use. It opened last Monday. And currently we're allowing 15 people at a time to come in and browse for books and check out books and all that. The library is currently open from 12 to 5. They do close down from 2 to 3 to clean as much as they can before they reopen. And we anticipate staying in this status for a little bit longer. We'll see what Wednesday brings with the COVID dial changing again and what we can allow. But right now it's first come, first serve, and you're welcome to come to the library and check out some books if you'd like. You can still do curbside pickup if you don't want to go in. Just reserve your books and then go pick them up. The egg hunt, the extravaganza, is scheduled for March 27th from 9 to noon. It has been approved by Tri-County Health Department to be a drive-through event. So it's not going to be the fun egg hunt out in the field, but at least we're offering the program. It'll be our first event to roll out for 2021. And we mentioned the furlough day. Malley will be closed except for the lunch program on the 12th. So that's all I have.
Thank you. If I could ask a question regarding the library real quick. For children and grandchildren, is it encouraged for them to come and kind of hang out, or is that's not happening?
We're finding both. We have people that come in and go right in and check out their books and leave. And then there's others that hang around for a little bit. There's no in-person programs going on. So story times and programs such of that nature are all online still. They're virtual. But that's up to you. If we have seen families come in and browse around and read a few books while in the children's area. So we're not necessarily encouraging it because we do want to keep COVID at the front. We want to be careful. But ultimately, if that's something you'd like to do, you're more than welcome to do so.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Allison or Christina? Okay, so moving on, chairperson's choice. Anyone have any comments that they would like to share?
I'd like to, and I've in person thanked the staff that's in there when I go to pick our lunches up. But Allison and Christina, the staff for the city, and in particular the staff for Malley, are phenomenal. Those people are in there, they're working for us, they're trying to keep things as much as they can for us, and we really, really appreciate them.
Thank you. I'll pass that on.
Okay. And then, let's see. Chairperson, I guess that was, sorry. Trustee choice, and then for chairperson's choice, just a thought, a thought came to mind with our Englewood citizen, with the updates that we've done here at Malley. Maybe Malley could be featured at some point in some fashion. Okay, just noting that what's been happening, just everything that's happening here is just real positive, the changes that are taking place. So sometime in 2021, that might be a consideration. Okay, so before we adjourn, are there any other comments or questions at this time? Okay, so thank each of you for your participation and presence and time. And our meeting is adjourned, and it is approximately 3:15. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Earl.
Thank you and goodbye.
Bye.
Cool.
Hi, Earl.
Bye, Earl.
I've enjoyed it.
Happy New Year to you all.
Thank you.